Lisa Latour takes a look at the expense of private education.
Meet Jackie Savoy. She is outfitting 4 of her 5 children, getting them ready for the school year. There's 11-year-old Jeremy, Emily, who's 9, Elizabeth is 7, and 5-year-old Jacob.
I was the only one with a large family, 5 children, so whenever they needed children for any kind of story, they would just walk down the hall and say, Jackie, what are your kids doing? Can we use them for a commercial or for a story or whatever? And I said, sure, because y'all loved it.
She said it was near a church.
I think we're lost.
Why didn't we call a real church?
It's an old rivalry meeting with some pretty good running backs tonight at Karen Crow High.
Well, Karen Crow always very tough at the open-air Crow Dome, and they welcomed a familiar face back, Mike Ortego, new coach of Opelousas.
It was a good time. Mom really, she gave us opportunities to get on TV, and we just loved it.
But Jacob was just smart enough to be able to be chosen, you know, for stuff like this, to be interviewed on TV.
Quickly, let's go to Angel Webb's squad.
Now, are you going to have fun tonight?
Oh, we're going to have tons of fun. We always do this every year, and we have a damn good time.
We won't turn down the chance to get famous. And at least in a little town of Lafayette, Acadiana, we got a little famous, I guess. But it was the week leading up to the Mardi Gras ball that everything started to unwind, started to feel real sick. It was like a flu, flu or a virus.
And then when I called him this Saturday morning to see how he was doing, he was just talking out of his head, and I said, Jacob, I don't know what you're saying. And he said, I don't either.
And then my brother came in. All he did was put the phone in my face, and he didn't say a word. And I said, all right. So I took the phone, and it was my mom saying that something was wrong with Jacob. I need to bring him to the emergency room. And I do remember as I was bringing him there, he couldn't even finish his sentences. He tried to say something, he knew what he wanted to say, but he couldn't find the words to say it.
I mean, he couldn't remember that, you know, this was a shirt or this was a table. He didn't know the names. So I went and labeled everything in the hospital: wall, window, clock. I mean, his food I labeled orange, milk. And so the speech therapist had come in and picked up an orange and said, you know, can you tell me what this is? And he said, yeah, that's an orange. And she was like, that's great. And she turned it around and it had the label orange written on it. And she was like, oh. I said, yeah, I'm sorry, I labeled everything. Thinking that would help, but.
They said because he had the proper medication within 48 hours, because he was young, his chances of recovery were 90%. But they didn't know when he would recover. And at first, they said he would have to withdraw from LSU, and I thought, oh, it's not that bad. I mean, after he gets over this, maybe he can make up his test, because they were out for Mardi Gras holiday. But as it progressed, he was in the hospital for 10 days, and he didn't know his name. He didn't know our name. I saw where it was serious.
But the one that I noticed was definitely my mom. She, by far, took it the hardest. And I used to call her every day because I'd stay home with nothing to do, so if I had an idea or a question, I must have called her at least 10 times a day while she was working at the Catholic school at the front desk. And all she could do is, no matter what the idea is, she would just have to calm me down and tell me not to do it or think it through. And she was really worried about me because it doesn't matter what she said, I may do it anyway.
It was hard. It was hard. Not knowing the future. I'd sit at my desk at work and the water would just fall out of my face because I missed the old Jacob so much. But God was good. He gave him back. Just had to wait.
If I can raise awareness to save lives and not let encephalitis claim another victim, then I'd call this film a success.